the Spanish team to the competition. The competition really getting more and more popular. It's a real staple on the wheelchair curling calendar these days. This is the place to be this weekend. And you'll see from the scoreboard behind the teams there is a little hammer next to Spain's name. That means they have hammer. They have last stone advantage in this first end. The teams do a 10-minute practice before the game. And after the practice, they throw 2 stones. One person throws a stone with a clockwise handle. One person throws a stone with the anti-clockwise handle. And whoever is cumulatively closer to the centre with their 2 stones, they get that all-important last stone advantage in the first end. So that was Spain this time. And your last shot draw also counts overall as well. So not only for this game, but it also counts cumulatively through the whole competition. At this stage in the competition, we have a whole bunch of teams who are on, say, 2 wins or 3 wins, and they are ranked according to whether they've played each other, and the direct winner would be on top. And next, they are ranked on their cumulative draw shot challenge. So it's not only important to decide last stone in this game, it is important overall. And a more aggressive start than we've seen from some of our games this weekend. Often in first end, we see a fairly conservative start. Both teams just being fairly cautious, not letting too many stones build up, but more fun for us viewers if we have a guard or 2 out front, and then we can get some stones into play, and that's exactly what we've got here. We can see that little blue from the Swiss. That is currently lying short, but Spain trying to outcount that stone there. Objectives in this first end, pretty straightforward. The earliest of early doors at the moment, and that's a fine shot from Spain there. That yellow just snuggling in close to the blue. I think it may still be blue that's closer, but important is that yellow is very nice and safe there. If you play a similar shot, you can use that yellow now to punch the blue further out. So that's a really lovely throw from Spain there. Yeah, our objectives in this first end, no score. So if you don't have last stone, if you're Switzerland playing blue, you simply want to really just prevent Spain from being able to score. Oh, well done, volunteer there, leaping into action to stop the stones clashing from the different games. Yeah, if you're Switzerland in this first end, you just want to prevent Spain being able to score big, and big means more than 1 in curling. And if you're Spain, then you would be very happy to score 2 or more with your last stone advantage. But fairly loosey-goosey kind of objectives for this first end. Just neither team wanting to get caught out and lose a big end here in the first end there. Now we have 2 more games out on the ice as well. Sorry, 3 more games out on the ice. We have next door on sheet 4, we have the team from Czech Republic, whom we saw yesterday, and they are playing our friends there. You see just in the corner, Team Wagami from the USA. They're not from Japan, remember the letters of Wagami. That is the clubs that team are from. And it is in fact the other team from North America, the other team from the US, the Team USA, who will represent at Paralympic. They are currently top of the table, so the North American team is very well represented this year. Over on sheet 5, we have the team from Poland, who are really making big strides in the game. And they are playing the All-Star team. So the All-Star from different nationalities. And finally on sheet 6, we have 2 Swiss teams. We have a team from Club St. Gallen, and they are playing the local team from Club Wetzikon. So we will be keeping eyes on all the scores today. But it's Switzerland who are off to the brighter start at this very early stage. Like we said, there are 2 ways of neutralising your opponent's attack. One of those is to just remove their stones. No stones from your opposition means no points. And the other way is to get your stones close to the centre instead. And that's really what Switzerland have done. They've got some blues nicely set up, blocking the path and blocking scoring for Spain. But here comes a big weight from Spain. Try to clear themselves some space. This looks nice. That's a nice shot from Spain. It is still blue lying, but look, that blue getting a little bit lonely now. 1, 2, 3 Spain counters. Dangerously hanging around. Yeah, this is a really nice throw. So punches one blue straight out. The other blue goes to that tee line, but that blue quite alone there now, and yellow's building up. So this aggressive strategy, keeping stones in play is aggressive, removing stones is defensive. So this aggressive strategy, it is higher risk, higher reward. So you can end up with more points, but if it goes wrong, you can end up losing more points. Well, this is looks like a nice throw from Switzerland again. They're really going with attack being the best form of defence here, and that's a lovely throw again. There, that neutralising all 3 yellows and asking the question of Spain again to do something about those blues, which are currently scoring. Our new Ice Master Fraser, he's listening in to listen to my Spanish. I'm afraid I don't know a word of Spanish, so I will not be trying to pronounce very many Spanish words, but big thank you to Fraser. He's only been here for a couple of months now, and he's really produced championship ice out there for the teams. That's what they'll be looking at Paralympic, so they need to get used to it. And that's a nice throw from Spain. Again, it's still those 2 blues lying, but look at those 2 dangerous yellows now in the front ring. Those 2 yellows, that's the view from the throwing end, and those 2 yellows, we could push those forward just a metre, half a metre, and all of a sudden they would be in a really nice position. So both teams off to a good start here. Both teams found really good weight. Lots of stones in the house, which is fun for us viewers. Switzerland sticking to the aggressive tactic. And that's also fine. There are now various dangerous stones out front. Those yellows still available that you could punch backwards a metre or so. But now there's a blue out front as well that Switzerland could also use. So Spain need to be a bit careful here. It is Spain with last stone though, so they will have the final say in our first end of the featured game. And again, lovely weight from Spain. Not quite catching the curl, and they may have to do that again with his final throw. He didn't quite get his angles right there, and unfortunately there's now a whole lot of blues hanging around dangerously. So final throw of this first end for the skip of Switzerland's second team. He just wants to remove that yellow, and then Switzerland will have met their objectives for this first end. So coming in at pace this stone, it wants to make sure we remove that yellow. He's done that beautifully. And he's left himself sitting in the way there. That's a really nice throw. And oh gosh. Several momentum shifts even in this first game, but congratulations to all the players. Look at that, how many stones in the house in this first end. That is very impressive. But yeah, Spain with a pressure shot already. A couple of ways he could do this. He could play the same shot again. He just threw a really nice weight and maybe just adjust the ice a little bit, give him a nice clear path. Or he could also play on that blue, just thrown by Switzerland. It really depends what he's most comfortable with. And looks like he is playing similar shot to before. Or is he trying to, it could be he's trying to use that blue. That's also a sensible idea. He's just going to catch the edge of that blue. Oh, he's not. Ooh. Oh, that's terribly unlucky. Just redirecting on two of the blue shots, but unfortunately not quite catching enough of either, and that is very unlucky for Spain. I think that's going to be quite a big score. I think it's at least 3 blue. So really nice tidy play from Switzerland, absolutely, but a bit of a shame for Spain. They didn't have a horrible end there. As you could see, that was just a matter of a centimetre or two here and there, and that's a pity for them. We said yesterday it takes good courage to put yourselves out there. A lot of these teams in the competition now, they've been playing a long number of years, and Spain a little bit newer to a wheelchair game, and good for them, putting themselves out against really the best teams out there in the game. And that's the only way you can learn. You have to have good courage, put yourself out against the best teams. That's how you learn. We've all been there. So we have a measure to see which stone is closer, and you can see how that works. There's a little needle dropping down from the metal arm there, and it's attached to a little gauge. And whichever stone pushes the needle further around the gauge, that is the stone closer to the centre. So I think it was definitely already 2 blues. It was already 3 blues, and they measured for 4, so that's a huge start to the Swiss team. That's a steal of 3 in the first end. Like I said, I feel a bit sad for Spain there. I don't think they deserve to get 3 against. It was a matter of centimetres. But still, the Swiss will be very happy with their start there. Big score of 3 on the board, and in our featured game, it is Team Switzerland's second team. They lead Spain 3-0. We had one round already this morning. As we said last night, after all the teams had played 3 rounds in 2 groups of 10, we made a great big list, ranked 1 to 20, and the top half of the draw they played this morning. And it's Team USA who are still top of the pile. They played Great Britain second team, and it was 9-3 to the US. They are really stamping their authority on the competition, so they stay top of the pile. We also had a win for Switzerland first team. They're having a really nice competition. They beat Team Sweden, the Paralympic silver medalists, 6 points to 4. It was a win for Team Norway, always very strong Norway. They've really been strong since the beginning of wheelchair curling, and they had an 8-4 win over Slovakia's second team. Korea also having a strong competition. They ran into Canada and it was 7-6 in the 8th end. Very close game out there. And it's Korea who got the win over Canada. Our back-to-back champions, Slovakia first team, not having quite such a strong run this year. They lost 6-1 to Great Britain first team. And finally, that's an interesting one. It was an all-Italian affair. And it was the club team, Team Albatross Trento. They were victorious over Team Italy, 9 points to 5. So some interesting results this morning. We will do the same again after this round. We will rank all 20 teams, 1 to 20. And we will have a final round of all 20 teams. So all teams play at least 5 games here. And then the top 12 teams, they will play a ranking game tomorrow afternoon. That's at 2 o'clock for the final round. And as always, the players will be piped onto the ice by the Zurich Caledonian Pipe Band. That's always very special. We always try to feature that in the stream, so make sure you join for that. Now this is another bright start here in our featured game from the Swiss. Getting tucked in behind cover there. Spain doing the right thing. It's still very early. We're only in the second end. That was a strong start from the Swiss, but important is that Spain just steadies the ship, gets a point or two on the board, stone by stone, one at a time, with plenty of time left. And that was a fine effort from the Spanish lead. We have 8 out of the 10 teams who will be at Paralympic next year. We have Italy, Canada, Korea, Norway, Sweden, Britain, Slovakia, USA, and the only 2 teams not here is the defending champions China and Latvia, also qualifying as well. But 8 out of 10 Paralympic teams here, just getting a measure of their competition. And that's another nice throw from the Swiss here. After that big start, the Swiss, they really don't need to take any risks. They can just keep it very simple, just remove yellow stones. We have our little yellow volunteers. There's volunteer Sammy. There's volunteer Sybil. They're brother and sister, interestingly. So good job, Bucher family. Our little yellow volunteers managing the stones, so getting the stones ready for the players and then just making sure stones that are out of play at the other end, keep those tidy at the back of the rink. So big thank you to all our volunteers. We have over 100 volunteer shifts, let's say, so several people coming more than once. We have Many members and friends of the club volunteering their time this weekend. I think they get lunch to say thank you. You get a voucher for lunch and a drink. And we always have a really nice time at this international competition. But a big thank you to our volunteers. That's one of the reasons this competition remains a really popular one for all the teams. They come back year on year. We're always very well looked after here. The hotel for the players is right across the street, all on the same level, so you can come and go independently, which I think is a big plus as well. And that looked like nice weight, but just over curling a little bit. Well, that's found a good spot for the Swiss. Their objective has not changed. They simply want to prevent Spain being able to build up a lot of points. So Swiss stones on that centre line there. That is doing the job very nicely. Spain then coming round the clockwise handle, and this looks like a lovely effort. This looks like a fabulous shot. Lovely stuff from Spain there. What a nice throw. That just bumps that blue back. Let's watch the overhead. Here it's just curling towards that blue. The line is just perfect. It's just going to bump that blue behind the tee line and catch a tiny little roll in behind cover. Super shot from Spain. Yeah, like we said, it's still very early. We're only in the second end. Spain just really want to steady the ship here. Even just scoring one in this end, that would just get a point on the board. And we've plenty of ends left to get points to bridge that gap. Same again, would potentially work beautifully, yeah? We know this path now. Same again then. Spain are looking for, coming round that clockwise handle. This also looks really nice. That is a lovely throw again. There's the overhead. Now, why is that a good throw? It looks like it kind of did nothing. Well, both those yellow stones are ahead of tee line, and that's important. If you move those two yellow stones around, if you still punch them forward a little bit, they can get closer to the centre. You can still use those angles, but the blue stone, that is already behind tee line. If you push that, it's only going to get further away. So that's why ahead of tee line, that's the important, that's the danger zone. That's the zone you really want to control. And that's why that's a really nice throw from Spain. They can use that yellow and try to push their own yellow onto blue and move those stones around still. But this is a very nice effort here from Switzerland. Well, now it's starting to look like a mixed doubles end. Stones in the centre and everybody racing towards the pin. This is a lovely throw. The Swiss don't mind if Spain get 1 point. That means it would still be 3 points to 1. They just want to, as we said, their objective has not changed. The Swiss simply want to limit how much Spain can score. So if Spain score 1, that's okay for the Swiss. And that stone just thrown by them, that really limits the scoring opportunity at the moment, and that's why that was a lovely throw. You'll see a number of the players, they have a handle or a grip that they often use with their non-throwing arm just to keep them balanced and stable. But if you want to try curling, if you're a wheelie user or your friend or your colleague or your sister or so, you don't need any adjustment to your day-to-day chair. You don't need a handle or a grip or anything. If you just want to come and try curling or play at the club or so, you absolutely can. You don't need any adjustment to your regular chair. We just ask that you clean your wheels the same way that the foot players stand on the sticky mat before taking the ice. And the club has everything else you need. These players, they all play very regularly, so they typically have their own throwing stick. You can see most of them have that. But the club also has sticks for delivery. You don't need to have your own. And the club also has brushes. You'll see the skip at the other end. We're aiming for her brush, and the club has everything you need. It's extremely inclusive curling. And you don't even need to have a specific wheelchair club. Of course, those do exist. We have the Zurich Oberland wheelchair club that play here at Wetzikon. But even if it's just you, one of the players in Wagami team on the sheet next door, he's the only wheelchair user at his club, and at club level, it's absolutely not a problem. You can all join in together. You can have foot players, wheelchair players, men and women playing together. At social level, everyone plays together. So even if it's just you, or just your friend or so who's wheelchair user, don't be shy. You absolutely can join right in. And again, really precise stuff here in the second end. As I said, I feel a bit bad for Spain. I don't think they played a horrible first end at all. It was just all the stones were really close. Everybody had really good weight immediately in that first end, really finding the house, finding T-line weight. But important for Spain is not to panic, just stick to their task. They've plenty of time left. And is it going to get a nice little redirection from that blue? Oh, it's a fine effort. You can see what was the idea, was to take a redirection on that blue and roll towards his yellow stones. It is still yellow lying though. And again, just a few millimeters here and there could really change this end. So that's fine for the Swiss. They're simply just blocking that path more. Their objective, just to frustrate Spain. They just don't want to give Spain opportunities to score. And by blocking that path to the centre, they force Spain to play on this side of the sheet instead. But I do think there's a way here. Spain already lying 1, and that's important for them. Let's see if we can make it 2. Oh, I think he's a bit wider with that one though. That has a bit to curl. And I think just that fresh path, that stone was a little bit wider on the sheet. Just that fresh path was maybe a little bit slower. You can see how you might have been able to make 2 if you could have just punched that second yellow forward just 5 or 10 centimetres. But it is 1 yellow, that's important for Spain. And that's a good response from them, not panicking. Just making sure they stick to their task. They've got good weight, they're all finding the house well. Just stick to that. And that's a good score of 1 in the second end. So here in our featured game, it is Team Switzerland 2nd, Team 3, Team Spain 1. That is the view from the clubhouse above. We're all nice and warm upstairs. And if you want to come join, if you want to come and support, watch some of the Paralympic teams who'll be in Italy next year, come join us. We have lunch today, we have brunch tomorrow. We always have tea and coffee and drinks available. And you'll see a bunch of teams hanging around. Go and talk to them. And then you can show off to your friends when you see them on TV. Spain then leading us off in the third end. We've had tons of stones in play in the first 2 ends, and that's always fun for us viewers. And that is a superb start from Spain. Still only the third end. So again, neither team needs to be super aggressive at this early stage. But that's still a fine start from Spain. Very important is that Spain doesn't want to let Switzerland get too far ahead now in this game. And that is the perfect way to start off such an end, is to just put a stone in free guard zone out front, right in the centre, blocking that path for the Swiss. Free guard zone is the area ahead of the rings. And these days we have 5 rock free guard zone. That means for the first 5 stones, all shots, the first 5 stones total, all shots in that area are protected by free guard zone. They cannot go out of play. They can go somewhere else in the playing area, but they're not allowed to go out of play. So that yellow, it can move around. If this blue touches it, that's okay. That's going to be another guard weight, I think. Yeah, so both of those stones then protected by free guard zone. That blue, I think that's a little bit shorter than they wanted. That's maybe more helping Spain, that shot. And indeed, we see the Spanish skip indicating to come directly around those 2 guards. And let's try to put a Spanish stone really near the centre. And if Spain can do that, they will have had a super start to this third end. So the line looks really nice here. Is it going to slow down? Is it going to put its brakes on? I think it's just going to slip through. That's a pity. Oh, it's maybe just hanging on at the back. Oh, there it is. It's hanging on by its fingernails. So a fine effort from the Spanish lead, but she's still set up her team pretty nicely in this third end. Both teams looking for their first win this weekend, the Swiss team and the team from Spain. But we've had really close games though, viewer. Do not get the idea that these teams are not as good as the others. Truly, we watched the Czech team also next door. Yes, we watched the Czech team yesterday, and they didn't pick up the win, but of course they were so close to beating Canada. So yeah, really all the teams very well matched out there. There is not much difference between winning and losing out there. So don't get the impression that these teams aren't playing well. The quality of this competition goes up every single year. So another chance for Spain to use those two guards out front. And again, they know that line very well, Spain. That's just going to come up short, but that's okay for Spain. It's Switzerland who has last stone in this third end. And as we said, Spain's main objective is to stop Switzerland setting up big points here. And that helps to do that. So another guard for Spain in the centre, that's okay. Bit of a race to the centre then. And that one's over curled. The Swiss not quite finding the line there. And we will see the same idea from Spain. They know this line. Need to take a little bit more ice though, just because it's getting quite busy out front on the centre. Again, the line is lovely, and this is popping straight in behind everything. That is a great shot. Really nice throw from Spain. Just putting the pressure on Switzerland. And I think Switzerland sensibly deciding, okay, we just want to clear a bit of space now. All these guards out front, just making life a bit too difficult. That was exactly the right shot. And that has cleared a bit of space. That's moved two of those centre guards and rolled away himself. That's a good result. There's the before. There's the after. And you can see that's really cleared some space on the centre there. Good shot from Swiss. Spain, though, really bouncing back from a bit of bad luck in the first end, losing a 3, but making sure of a score of 1 in that second end. And they've set up this third end really nicely as well. They just want to stick to what they're doing, block that path to the centre. Oh, that's a bit unlucky. Weight was nice for that shot. I think that was just going to land front of house as well, but just catching the blue, and unfortunately that has opened up now the path to that yellow. Switzerland immediately taking the chance to try to remove that yellow. And she's done that perfectly. Is that blue going to hang on? It's not. Perfect. Would have been if she just rolled and sat behind her own guard there. But first things first. The immediate danger is removed. But still guards out front that Spain can use. And we see them just trying to replace that stone in behind cover. Again, super weight from Spain. They really made the most of their practice before the game. They've all got lovely weight, finding that important zone just ahead of T-line. And they just need to keep doing that, Spain. They didn't quite find a line on that throw. So that yellow is open, but if they keep doing that, Spain, that is going to serve them very well for the rest of the game. But currently, same again, please, for Switzerland. It's never easy. Same again, please. We often call that the most difficult shot in curling. But I think no problem. Oh, this was there. And is this blue going to hang on this time? Yes, it is. That's exactly what she wanted. And that blue just hanging on at the edge there. That now puts a lot more pressure on the Spanish throw. Yeah. High fives for that one. That was a really good throw. Will that blue right at the edge there, will that become important at the conclusion of the end? Spain with much more pressure now to get a stone in behind cover. And the line's better this time. Oh, it's just caught the guard. You can see again the weight is just right. The stone landing in the front ring, but not quite finding the path in behind cover. So another chance for Switzerland then to remove that yellow. And can they get a roll and get a second blue into play? First things first, that yellow is very dangerous. We want to remove that. Has he caught enough of it? Ooh. Just a few molecules, but not quite enough. So advantage Spain. It is now that yellow. Look, we've got 1, 2, 3 stones all lying around the 12-foot circle. That's the red one. Curling predating the metric system by many hundreds of years, so even the most metrically fluent of countries, you will still hear them talking about the 12-foot, the 8-foot and the 4-foot circle. That's the red, white and blue, respectively. Spain just wanted to capitalise on that mistake from Switzerland. Get another yellow into play here. They've done that beautifully. And look at that, now you have 2 yellows to put the pressure on Switzerland. But the good news for Swiss is that there is plenty of space to follow that stone from Spain. So another good end from Spain. They're responding well. And this really puts pressure on this final throw from Switzerland. It is Spain line 2. This looks like a really nice throw though. Oh, has it got the legs to get there though? Has it got enough gas? Oh, it hasn't. Oh, they will be frustrated with that, Switzerland. He could have thrown that a bit higher with a bit more weight and just followed that stone from Spain to the back line. That would have been fine, and they'll be frustrated with that, the Swiss, but good for you, Spain. Playing very consistently, Spain. They've all really found draw weight, just piling the house full of stones, and they have closed that gap in 2 ends, Spain. Good for you. That means that in our featured game after 3 ends, the score is Switzerland second team 3, Spain 3. Well, I feel like Spain will probably be feeling the more positive out there. They've really found their jaw weight. And just putting a couple of guards up, getting a stone in behind that is really working for them. But scores are level as we approach the halfway. We play 8 ends here in the competition. If score is tied after 8 ends, we will play an extra end. We saw 2 extra ends yesterday in our featured games. As I said, all the teams out there are very close, even though both the teams we're watching, they're both looking for their first win today. But that doesn't mean they have not been giving the other teams all kinds of trouble. So that first stone just slipping through, but at this stage now, scores are level. It's 3 each. So Spain don't need to be so aggressive as before. They've bridged that gap. They've got the score back to level. So it's less important to keep guards out front. a little mini game with those first 3 ends. Switzerland jumping out to a big lead with a big score of 3 in the first end, but Spain very steady getting that back, and now we're back to level score. So our objectives, what's our objectives in this 4th end? A bit more straightforward and pretty similar to the first end. It is Switzerland who have last stone, and so Spain without last stone. Spain simply want to limit Switzerland, they want to frustrate them, make sure that Switzerland are not able to set up a big end here, so multiple points. And that's again very nice steady throw from Spain. So a fairly aggressive setup here in this 4th end. But we've seen both teams not afraid to keep stones in play. So this is an ideal setup for both, actually. Switzerland, they have a guard away from centre. So they want to set something up over at the side of the sheet and then play towards the centre after that. That's typically the traditional way of getting multiple points. And Spain, they are trying to stop Switzerland getting multiple points, and the best way to do that is to block the centre, which is what they've done. And that is a fine throw from the Swiss front end. Look at that. Snuggled right in behind that guard. Lovely throw from them. There it goes. Curling in behind the guard. Nice and close to the tee line. Super throw. And as we said, there are 2 ways of neutralising your opponent's attack. The first way is to remove their stones completely. No blues equals no points. And the second way is what Spain are looking for here. And that coming up a little bit short. The second way to defeat your opponent's attack is to just not play better, but is to have better stone placement, so you're closer to the centre than they are. That's what Spain were aiming for, and that stone coming up a little bit short, but important is that it's in front of house, it's ahead of tee line, so Spain can use that stone again, they can push it forward, and all of a sudden they will be in a much better position. We spoke yesterday about the tolerance for each shot, so if your stone is not perfect, is it better to be a little bit shorter or a little bit longer, a little bit wider or a little bit tight? And definitely the tolerance for that shot was a little shorter. That's still a stone Spain can use. But it looks like Switzerland have used it first, and that is a lovely throw from them. We had 1 round already this morning. Your reward for being in the top half of the table was you have to get up early, which seems like a bit of a bad deal. But it was wins for the Team USA over Great Britain's second team. Switzerland's first team won over Sweden. Norway, they won against Slovakia's second team. Korea won against Canada. Great Britain's first team, they won against Slovakia's first team. And it was the club team from Italy, Albatross Trento, they won against Team Italy. We will be seeing the top of the table again later this afternoon. That will be at 4:30 European time. And tomorrow is finals day, we will have the lower half of the table in the morning at 9:30, and then we will have top 12 teams. They will play a final ranking game at 2 o'clock, and they will be piped onto the ice by the Zurich Caledonian Pipe Band, so do make sure you join us for that. That is another very nice throw from Switzerland. Like we said, both teams just piling stones into the house. Very comfortable playing with lots of stones in play. That's always more fun for we viewers. And it's the Swiss now who are lying 3 stones closest to centre. Yeah, this stone coming in at pace. I think important to remove some blues there. Too many blues starting to build up. That's nice again from Spain. Both teams there, that's a really nice setup. Both teams have stones they can use. It's 2 blues currently counting. But Spain have 2 or 3 of their yellows that they can still use to good effect. A really interesting setup here for us viewers. Let's see how the other teams are doing. Next door on sheet 4, we have the team from Czech Republic. They are playing Team Wagami from US. And it is the Americans who are 3-1 ahead over the Czechs. On sheet 5, we have the team from Poland. Back to the competition, I think, for the 3rd year in a row. And they are making good progress against the all-star team. The multinational team, it is 5-0 after 3 ends to Poland. And finally on sheet 6, it's the all-Swiss affair. We have the team from Club St. Gallen, and they are playing the team from here in Club Wetzikon, and it is St. Gallen who lead 4-1. So another blue now in the mix for Switzerland. This is great to see for us viewers, just piling stones into the house. Oh, and that is not the angle Spain wanted. That is a big mistake from Spain. And yeah, Switzerland going to say thanks very much and just try to now block that hole. Big chance for Switzerland to close this door. And after battling back to level the scores, Spain, they are looking at a pile of blue stones again here. And yeah, that blue is going to find a lovely place to stop. Look at that. Right in the middle of that space, just blocking access to the forefoot. So Spain, they really have some work to do to limit this damage now here. Big throw for Spain. Facing 3 Swiss counters. It is Switzerland who have last stone. So all kinds of danger for Spain here. Oh, he just squeaks past that guard just thrown by Switzerland. Doesn't quite have enough gas to just push that blue out. But it has made a bit of space on that anti-clockwise handle. And I think the Swiss, they may be looking at the wrong side of the sheet here. I think Spain's final throw is going to have to be on the anti-clockwise handle. So they might be wise to block that instead, similar to what they did with the previous stone. Oh no, actually from the throwing end it doesn't look half so easy. I don't think there's a path on the anti-clockwise handle after all. And so my mistake. Indeed, the danger stone for Switzerland was that yellow that is now beautifully guarded. So gosh, Spain in a whole heap of trouble out there. Goodness me. I think 27 stones in play, roughly. Yeah, I think very few options here. A long way to push that yellow guard at an angle towards the forefoot. That's one possibility. No easy options out there, unfortunately. Final throw for Team Spain in this first half. I think just looking to get an angle on his own yellow, unlucky. Just caught the blue by millimeters. I think he was looking to just get a redirection off his own yellow towards the center, but a huge chance for Switzerland, already lying 3. Is there space to sneak a 4th one in? think the discussion simply about where is there a path. There are so many stones in play, many stones out front. Yeah, trying to decide actually where is the best path to try to get another stone in. Final throw of the first half. It is Switzerland line 3. Very busy end though. No easy way for them to get another stone into play here. I think this probably is the most likely, is they just want to punch forward. That blue in the front ring. The line is lovely. Oh, what an effort, so close. But that path out there, just that little bit wider. The path not played so often, and the ice probably not quite as fast out there, and that means that that stone not quite having enough gas to punch the blue forward, but a great effort. That will be a score of 3 to Switzerland. Excellent end from them. And at the halfway point, it will be Switzerland second team 6, Team Spain 3.
Va a tener más piedras.
Desde arriba se ve muy bien la perspectiva. La de aquí a allí, pues está un poco lejos.
Es fa aquí, no s'ho va, no? Se té mitja, va. I què vos
¿Qué tal? Digo, muy bien. Y me vas a mirar medio claro. Y los venga, tope.
Il y a la... Merci.
Welcome back to the second half of our featured game here at the 17th International Wheelchair Curling Tournament in Curling Club Etzikon. It's the biggest and best ever. We have 20 teams this year, up from the normal 16. And an intriguing matchup we've got here. It is Team Switzerland's second team, and they are playing first-time visitor Spain. And the momentum really going backwards and forwards in this game. Both teams playing really aggressive stuff. Both teams very happy to play with tons of stones in the house. But it is Switzerland who are currently ahead 6-3. They played a really tidy fourth end there. Really finding their weight well. And I wonder if we will get a repeat performance from the first half of the game. It was Switzerland started off with 3 in the first end, and Spain battled back with some lovely shots. And that is a bright start from Spain again. You can see that little yellow tucked in behind the guard there. Spanish lead really playing very nicely out there. She's setting up her team really well. Our objectives in the second half of the game, they become maybe a little more specific, shall we say. It becomes a little more urgent to make sure your opposition either doesn't score, or it becomes a bit more urgent that you do now have to steal points. So take points even if you don't have last stone. And that's because we play 8 ends only, and you can't wait forever. And as we've seen in several of the early ends, again, an aggressive, dangerous setup from both teams. Swiss stones and Spanish stones in that dangerous area ahead of T-line, front of house. And Switzerland sensibly trying to remove the danger. He just wants to make that yellow stone go away, please. He's done that beautifully. Objective for Switzerland, a little more straightforward than Spain. It's Switzerland who are 6-3 ahead. They have a decent cushion there, plus 3 points. So their objective is fairly simple. They want to prevent Spain getting points to bridge that gap. They don't need to take risks. They don't need to be too aggressive. Switzerland don't need to get any more points at this stage. But they do want to limit Spain's opportunity. And that setup out front is very nice for the Swiss. There you can see a couple of dangerous blue stones. And that stone from Spain, line was perfect, but doesn't quite have the weight. And that's just going to land up front. That doesn't really help them. Spain need to really keep their focus. They've been playing well. Like we said, aggressive strategy where you keep lots of stones in play, lots of stones in the house. It's high risk, high reward. So you can get a lot of points, and both teams have been picking up good points, but you can lose a lot of points as well. This is a peach from the Swiss team. Look at that. That has found a way behind everything. That is a great throw from them, putting all the pressure on Spain now. Yeah, so Spain in an unenviable situation here. If it was a bit earlier in the game, I might favour just trying to clear the front. Just try to remove some of those guards that are really blocking the path to scoring, but it's getting a bit too late in the game for that. Spain can't afford to wait really any longer. We only have 8 ends. And a score of just 1 here in the 5th end. That's okay, but Spain would really like to score more than that. So if scores were level, or if it was a bit earlier in the game, I would favour removing those guards, but yeah, Spain can't wait any longer. They need to play with the aggressive setup. And that's exactly the right call from Switzerland. That Spanish stone there was a danger. There was plenty of room to punch that yellow back into scoring position. And that a lovely, lovely throw from Switzerland. Of course, that's the position from the throwing end. So Spain need to just really keep focused. They're throwing well. They've got good weight. They need to try to not get frustrated. Don't let it get into your head. Just stick to your task. Let's make sure we score at least 1 here. Steady the ship. This looks nice. Is it going to put the brakes on? Oh, what a pity. What a brave effort. You see in wheelchair curling the most obvious difference in a full wheelchair tournament with no foot players. Obviously, you don't have sweepers in wheelchair curling. And there's a couple more reasons, but that's the most obvious one that makes the degree of difficulty of every shot in wheelchair curling. Every stone you throw in wheelchair curling is just more difficult, and one of the reasons is because you don't have sweepers. You have to get it spot on as soon as you release. But another chance for Spain. That stone slipping on from Switzerland. They wanted to just block that path, but that stone running and running, and that means there is still space for Spain to try again. So another chance for Spain. This one's running on as well, though. That's too high. Again, the line was spot on. You could see that. But just struggling a little bit now to find the weight. Spain have been playing really nice weight all game, but they really need that right now as well. Switzerland firmly in control of this game at this important point. They will now want to close that door to the clockwise handle here, prevent Spain from getting a shot in. This looks better. That's exactly what they wanted. Yeah, another stone out front. Just blocking that path more and more. So there is still a path for Spain, but they're having to go wider and wider every time to get around those stones out front. They might have to borrow someone else's ice soon. For the sake of good curling then, let's all cheer on Spain. Try to get a stone back here in this fifth end. And actually Spain deciding that that's getting too far away now, the path around the outside. So not clearing space, but leaving a yellow out front there that Spain could use to punch back. And no hesitation from Switzerland though, just indicating, same idea please, we just want to block the path now to that yellow. Make sure Spain cannot punch it backwards. Oh my goodness, he nearly played it for them. That stone running on a little higher than they wanted, but no harm done. Important is they have a blue out front blocking the path, and they are still allowing one blue at the back of that 4 foot. Final throw in the 5th end for Spain. Really difficult stuff. A great wall of Switzerland out front. Having to take a really wide path here. As we've seen, we tend not to place so many stones out wide there. The path can be a little bit more frosty, needing a little bit more weight on it. And oh, that's so unlucky. The weight looked quite good, actually. Just trying to sneak around that guard, but just over curling a little bit. That's one of those ones that we would love to scoot down onto the ice with our brushes and help our wheelie players get the stone past the guard, but no sweeping in wheelchair curling. And that will be a steal of 1 point to Switzerland, a super end from them, putting all the pressure on Spain. And again, Spain not playing horribly, but it's a matter of centimetres out there, and that means it is a steal of 1 to Switzerland. So in our featured game, it is Team Switzerland second team 7, Team Spain 3. Advantage Switzerland in our featured game at the 17th International Wheelchair Curling Tournament. It's our biggest and best yet. We have 20 teams this year, up from 16, because we're the place to be and everybody wants to come play here. It is a Paralympic year, and 8 of the teams here this weekend will be representing in Italy in a few months' time. They will be Italy themselves, Canada, Korea, Norway, Sweden, Great Britain, Slovakia, the USA, and the only 2 teams who we will see at Paralympic next year not here is China and Latvia, both of whom have played here before. But yeah, 8 teams who will be at Paralympic. They are here just getting some practice in against their future opposition. An important tournament, this one. Really become a feature on the wheelchair calendar. This and the follow-up tournament in Scotland. A lot of these teams will travel on to that tournament next weekend. So we've long had really the top teams from the wheelchair game here. And yeah, everybody interested in getting some tournament practice before Paralympic in a few months' time. We are in the 6th end out of 8. If scores are tied, after 8 ends, we will play an extra end. We had an extra end in both of our featured games yesterday. Bonus curling for us viewers. And now we are really running out of ends a bit. We are in the 6th end. We have only 2 ends to come after this. So our objectives become quite precise. If you are Switzerland, your objective has not really changed. You just want to prevent Spain from scoring big. Even if Spain would score 1 point here, that would make the overall score 7-4. That's not a big deal. That would be fine for you if you're Switzerland. So the Swiss really need to play the scoreboard a little bit here as well. Giving up 1 point to Spain, that's okay. Even giving up 2 points to Spain here, that would make the overall score 7-5. But Switzerland would have last stone back. That's also okay. So yeah, Switzerland's objective is still really just to manage the score here. Just limit Spain's scoring opportunities. And Spain, they really need to go all out aggressive. And that's a brave try. That has found space in behind cover. But it has slipped behind T-line. So there is still space for Switzerland to follow. Spain's objective, they really need to play all out aggressive from here. They really can't afford for Switzerland to get any more points. That would really put the game a long way away from them. So they just need to stick to their task, Spain. They've been playing well, they've got good weight. And they just need to hold their nerve and keep piling stones into the house. And I think this could be a little chance for them. Indeed, that Swiss stone just going on a little bit too high. So same again, Spain. Just keep piling stones towards the forefoot. Need to make sure we score something here from Spain. They really can't let Switzerland get any further away from them now. And that will inform Spanish tactics. They need to keep stones in play for the next 3 ends. This looks nice from Spain. Oh, is it going to slip on? No. It is going to stop, but that is also behind T, and that still leaves a chance then for the Swiss to just follow that in, sneak one in front of those yellows. So it looks like calling a technical timeout. That there is a coach interaction. And that would be the regular T hands above your head, but a sort of crossed arms above your head. That's a technical timeout. So that can mean there's an incident with the timing, or yeah, maybe there's someone's equipment has broken, or not too sure. But what that means is you'd see the time clocks behind the players there. They have stopped while we sort everything out. And that gives us a nice chance to say thank you very much to all of our sponsors. It's always very well supported, this competition, and that's what makes it such a great time. That's why it's so important for these teams. They come year on year And we say a big thank you to all of our sponsors. In the middle of the screen there, Ruby Photography. It is Nicole who is the person behind that. Ruby Photography, you can find her Instagram channel. She's been taking action photos the past couple of days, and I've seen her out on the ice this morning as well. She's taking some more photos, and they always really capture the event, so you can look for her photos on the competition website. That is IWCT.ch, and you will see also some of her photos on her own Instagram channel. If you look up Ruby Photography, you'll see a selection there as well. So it looked like, yeah, there was maybe a little screw had come loose from someone's delivery stick. Looks like we're all sorted out now. Spain doing the right thing. You just want to keep trying to get yellows towards the centre. They would really like all those yellows ahead of T-line, but first things first, we need yellows in play. The problem with being behind T is that they're leaving space for Switzerland to follow these stones, and lucky you, Spain. Switzerland are not quite finding the right weight. But Spain really need to find that area ahead of T-line so that there isn't space for Switzerland to sneak in and outcount them. Spain then looking same line, and they just want to land ahead of T. Of course, they're close again, but oh, that stone just slipping past T-line as well. Well, that's a nice little nest of stones at the back there. Switzerland, unfortunately for Spain, could cancel all of those out. If Switzerland just gets to that little nest and locks a stone on behind T in front of all those yellows, then Switzerland can really neutralise all of this play from Spain. Not quite like that, though. I'm not sure if that was quite the right idea for that shot. There was a big nest of stones they could just have snuggled into. And look, now the situation is that Spain are lying too yellow. And yeah, just stick to that tactic, Spain. Stick to that line. Just need to take a couple of meters off and land your stone in front of T. Found that same line. And just a slight redirection. I don't mind that, you know. There wasn't much advantage to putting more yellow stones behind tee. The tolerance for this shot is now very much a little bit shorter is better than a little bit too long. And what that yellow does, it just changes the path a bit now. Harder for Switzerland to get to that pile of yellows at the back and cancel them all out. So that Spanish stone out front. Let's see if it's going to do a job here. Like we said, that yellow out front there, just changing the path. And Switzerland's still not quite finding the way to cancel those yellows yet. Everything very close. Hard to tell what's what. Definitely yellow is line 1. We really need a second yellow ahead of tee line on that same path. So big throw for the Spanish skip here. He can really do his team a big favour. They're going the clockwise handle. Trying to come around the other side. I think they may have been wiser to just stick to the handle they know, but fair enough. That's coming in nicely. Oh, and that's from our angle. That looks like 5 centimetres too short. I would love to go and sweep that one for him as well. An intriguing end, this 6th end, an important end for Spain. Like we said, they really don't want Switzerland to be able to score any more points from here. Everybody just overthrowing slightly, a lot of stones ending up behind tee. Final throw in this 6th end for Switzerland. And we can see the idea here, blue onto blue, and just try and punch that blue forward. But just catching the yellow on the way. And well, viewer. As we've seen multiple times already in this game, it's just a matter of millimetres here and there. Spain electing to just push forward the stone they already threw. As we saw, it doesn't need to move it by much, just a few centimetres, and that will be at least 2. And will it be a measure even for 3 points? Last stone of the 6th end is on its way. Same path as last time. A little heavier. Oh, is that too heavy? That's not going to curl onto his stone. So definitely 1 yellow. A little bit hard to tell from our angle the final situation, but looks like no measure, so I think that was just one yellow, but that was important for Spain. As we said, important for them is that they could not let Switzerland get any further away in this game, and what a difference that is. It's now overall Switzerland second, team 7, Spain 4. So that quite a different situation than if Switzerland had scored there. So Spain still battling, still in this game. They just need to be patient, Spain. Just stick to their task. Keep piling stones in as they've been doing. Like we said, Spain still a couple points behind. And we only have 2 ends left. We're on end 7 now. So Spain have no choice. They need to keep playing aggressive. They need stones in play. But it is Switzerland who will now have last stone in the 7th end. And by far the easiest way of keeping control of this game is the defensive strategy, is to just remove Spanish stones from play. Don't let Spain have a chance to build any points, to steal any more points. Objectives very clear and very opposite. Spain want to keep stones in play. They want guards. They want stones in the house. Switzerland, they want everything nice and clear. They don't really want stones in play. That's just stones that can help Spain hide behind cover, make a freeze, that sort of thing. And that then is exactly the start that Spain wanted. Switzerland cannot remove that stone. They would love to. But Switzerland cannot remove that stone. It is protected by free guard zone until we have played 5 stones total. So the next best thing is to get to the centre first. Let's come around that guard. We can remove the guards later. This looks nice from the Swiss. That's a pretty good effort. Switzerland doesn't really need to score big here. In fact, they don't really need to score at all. And the best way to avoid having points against them is just to keep things clear, is to really have as few stones as possible in play. Spain, completely the opposite. They will be looking to keep stones in play. Important guard out front there, and looks like Spain calling to go behind it here. A little bit short's also okay though. And she's done that beautifully. She's had a super game, the Spanish lead. That is a fine shot from her. She could not have placed that any better herself. And now she leaves it to the rest of her team to guard and protect that stone. So a perfect start for Spain. And again, Switzerland mustn't panic. A steal of 1 to Spain, so Spain getting a point even though they don't have last stone. It's not the end of the world for Switzerland. But a fine response from the Swiss lead as well, the two of them having a great battle today. So perfect setup from the Spanish lead. And now she needs her teammates to build on that. Oh no, that is exactly not what they wanted to do. Spain needs those guards out front. There is still a stone out front, but it's a bit far away from the centre line now. And that is a mistake. That's a pity for Spain. I'm so engrossed in our game. It's been a little while since we checked on the other sheets. So next door, we have the Czech Republic. They are playing the team Wagami from the US, and it was a Wagami team who jumped out to the lead in the first half, but the Czechs have built that back, and it is the Czechs now leading 5 points to 3. They're also in their 7th end. On sheet 5, we have Team Poland playing the All-Star team with mixed nationalities. Same story, it was Poland who were leading at first, but the All-Stars have really punched back, but it is still Poland who are 5-4 ahead, also in their 7th end. And we have our first result of this lunchtime session over on sheet 6. It is the team from St. Gallen. They won the Battle of the Swiss Clubs, and they have won 10-3 over Club Etsicon. So a really costly mistake for Spain, unfortunately. That first guard was all important in this end for them. And now the path to getting some points here a lot more difficult. Switzerland saying thank you very much. They will gladly take advantage of a loose shot here and there. This is exactly how we said we thought Switzerland would play. They just want to keep removing stones, removing Spanish stones, not having stuff out front. So there's nothing covering the centre at the moment. And that suits Switzerland, but that's a miss from Switzerland. Now you need to make the most of this, Spain. A couple of options here. You can try to replace your centre guard right on that centre line, or you could use the guard that's more off centre now and try and sneak in behind that and get a second yellow into play. I think if you're -3 points here and there's only 2 ends left to play, I think you need to play the aggressive one. I think they should try to replace that centre guard. And it looks like that was the call. I do think that's Spain's best chance of getting points here in this end, is to keep peppering the centre line. Oh, and that stone not quite finding the curl, but stones out front help Spain. So the shot in the middle there, it is open. Switzerland can remove it. But now we've got 2 guards out front. And indeed, that little Spanish stone now out of play. And Spain really need to use those guards now to get another Spanish counter. A nice clean hit from Switzerland. And rolling away from centre. That's exactly what Switzerland want. That's even better than hitting it and sticking in the centre there. Hitting and rolling away from the centre. Lovely shot for Switzerland. Oh, Spain, that's not it. You need those guards. Stay away from them. They are now running out of stones a little bit to get a stone in behind cover there. This end, everything coming up Switzerland. That is exactly where they wanted to put that. So this, for me, this is maybe not quite the right shot for Spain. I think they need to go around the other side. They just need to do a dead draw behind their own guards. Or maybe they can see a hit and roll to achieve roughly the same thing. Well, they're certainly connecting with that front blue, but that's just over curled a bit. They're not going to get the roll towards the centre that they wanted. And Spain are going to need a little bit of magic if they want to keep themselves in this game. They have done the right thing. You need to take risks at this point. It's N7. You need to get those 3 points back, so they have to play aggressive. They've done the right thing tactically. Just not quite finding the right line, not really using their own guards. Switzerland just covering that line. And now Spain, you really have no choice. You have to go around on the anti-clockwise handle. I don't think that's the easier way. If you come round on the anti-clockwise handle in behind those yellows, you just want to touch half in, half out of the forefoot. And Spain, again, not quite finding the right line. They have not had a good seventh end here, sadly. Final throw of the seventh end. Switzerland just played a really sensible seventh end here. Just keeping everything in the house, staying out of trouble. They're already lying 3. Here comes a fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4 blues. And Spain just running out of gas, unfortunately, in the seventh end. Here comes a final throw from Switzerland, sensibly using their own blues. Just catch that stone, make sure it sticks. Big score of 4. And looks like we will see Spain play on. They've come here to play. Both teams will have one more game. And meanwhile, again, big thank you to our sponsors. That's why the teams love to come to this competition. The Hotel Swiss Star there, they're right across the street. That's where most of the teams are for the weekend. I think we just book the whole hotel once a year. But very convenient, and especially for the wheelchair players, they can come and go independently, which is always nice. No, that's enough for Spain. They could play out the 8th end. But yeah, the chance of scoring 7, fairly small. But I hope Spain take good confidence from this competition. From watching them in that game there, they're doing an awful lot of good stuff. They're really got their weight, really attacking the house, getting stones into play. But finally, maybe just a little bit more experience from the Swiss team, a little bit more consistency, and they'll be delighted with that. So an important win on the board for the Swiss team. Congratulations to them. It is finally Switzerland second, team 11, Team Spain 4.